While EU has prioritized social innovation through several policies, for example, Horizon 2020, the new ESF Plus program, the Employment and Social Innovation Program, and the new Social Economy Action Plan, Sweden seems to lag behind in strategic policy efforts after the National Strategy for Social Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation ended in 2020. In this session, key actors in Sweden and the EU will discuss the challenges and opportunities in better supporting the multitude of social innovators and entrepreneurs who keep on striving to achieve the global sustainability goals of the 2030 Agenda. This session is arranged by Forum for Social Innovation Sweden at Malmö University, a national knowledge and collaboration platform on social innovation based at 5 universities and in 5 regions from Luleå in the north to Malmö in the south of Sweden. I am Lotta Orban. I'm a project leader focusing on communicating Forum for Social Innovation Sweden's work, results and impact. Today, I will facilitate this session and be your host. First, let us listen to Michael Grosse, Directorate-General for Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion at the European Commission. He's working in the coordination unit of the European Social Fund Plus and is in charge of leading the social innovation team as well as internal coordination. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lotta. I hope you can hear me. Thanks for the invitation. Very happy to see so much activity going on in Sweden and the will to boost the social economy in Sweden and social innovation. As Lotta said, I'm dealing with social innovation and we have another unit within DG Employment dealing with the social economy. But of course, there's strong links, and I also have a couple of points from my colleagues working in the social economy unit that I will share with you today. We have briefly discussed before what I can contribute, and I think the bigger frame is like why we as a EU want to invest in the social economy and in social innovation to frame this event now. And for us, it is very much linked to the green and digital transitions, the big ongoing trends. And we see the social economy as one way to promote an economic model that is based on a fair, sustainable and inclusive growth. Yeah. So to trigger transformation, this is a role social economy can play in our view, and this is why we're promoting social economy and also social innovation. It is, of course, also about social inclusion and reducing inequalities. This comes to mind very often when you talk to people about social economy, but it is also a contributor to economic growth. And here I have some figures from my colleagues. So we estimate that the social economy represents about 2.8 million entities and enterprises in Europe and about 13.6 million paid jobs. So this is about 6.3% of the working population. But there are big differences within the member states. So this between 0.5% and almost 10%, the paid employment is ranging in the member states. You can also look at it as a chance for like a potential that you can develop. So if you have 0.5% in one member state and 10% in another, that means there's a lot of space to boost the social economy. But it's also a sign that the landscape is very diverse. Huh? And this is maybe the biggest challenge when we, for our work at the European level, how to boost the social economy is to deal with very diverse situations in member states. Now, what do we do concretely? The Social Economy Action Plan was adopted in December 2021, and we have it contains 63 concrete actions to support the social economy. Out of these, let me highlight two big areas. One is a council recommendation that we are preparing now, and we hope to have adopted before the summer. And then member states are, of course, working on this to adopt it in the council by the end of the year, hopefully. And the second one is the Social Economy Gateway. It's a website as a single entry point for all social economy stakeholders and actors seeking information on EU funding, policies, and initiatives. Last point on the social economy, maybe I think Lotte also said it in her introduction. We have Horizon 2020, we have, or Horizon Europe now, we have the ESF Plus, we have, but also the ERDF, we have the Agricultural Fund for Rural Development, we have InvestEU. So we have many funds supporting projects on the ground. And here I want to make the link to the ESF and what we expect, or why we invest in social innovation, ESF Plus. And here we have the goal to make proven solutions bigger, to transfer, to scale up, to replicate. So we have the EASY program to experiment, but then within the ESF Plus, we want to really see how we can spread it out, which then ultimately triggers, of course, a policy change and a systemic change, but that's a very high goal. Final point as an introduction, and I hope I'm not too long now. We have the Social Innovation Plus initiative. That's about 200 million euros that we have for the next 8 years, and this is run by the Lithuanian Managing Authority for ESF. They have been selected to implement this on behalf of the Commission. So we have lots of activities there. We have European calls. There was just one call on supporting young people under the title ALMA that has just closed a week ago. There are other calls in the pipeline for this year. But then we also have a European Competence Center for Social Innovation that the Lithuanian colleagues are building up now, and that contains 5 communities of practice on various areas and a lot of activities. So we can also share that with you. And this is one way how we promote social innovation within the ESF. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael. I was just curious about the ESF's Plus is EU's main instrument for investing in people and supporting the implementation of the European Pillar of Social Rights, as you said. And if you look to the future in 2027, where are we then? What progress have we made, and what would be the next step, if you just very shortly, do you think?
Yeah, good question. I mean, the pillar is very important as a policy frame, and the ESF Plus is contributing with concrete funding for sure. Where will we be in 2027? I think we'll be halfway in the implementation, because we are lagging behind with the period runs 20 to 2027. So let's say, where will we be 2030? I hope we have a much more social Europe. I hope we have overcome the current crisis from the war in the Ukraine. We call it a war. It is a war. From energy crisis, from inflation. I hope we have found good solutions to all. And the ESF has contributed to this, the ESF Plus. I think we are in a good way. I think there is a lot. I see a lot of happening on the ground. I see a lot of good ideas, and this is also especially in the social innovation area, new solutions to the existing problems in society. So I have a positive view. I say
that's good to hear.
I think the future is bright, also for Sweden.
Thank you very much. Now let's move to Sweden, where the Swedish ESF Council, through the funds, finances projects that work with skills development, employment measures, and integration initiatives. The activities aim to reduce unemployment and exclusion, strengthen Sweden's long-term supply of skills and growth, and increase cohesion within the EU. Welcome to Jonny Karlsson, the National Coordinator at the Swedish ESF Council. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Lotta. Thank you for arranging this and the invitation. I'd like to begin with the topic of supporting social innovation, where we have first and foremost allocated almost 34 million euros to the priority of social innovation, meaning we will fund projects of various themes and topics. Worth mentioning, without preceding representation, hopefully, is the strategic support we have financed with the aim of supporting socially innovative projects in the form of the Competence Center for Social Innovation, and which we believe will bring an added boost to the potential impact. Furthermore, in a broader meaning, we also support social innovation by hopefully raising the bar, as in our internal understanding of social innovation, as in being not only financing, but hopefully knowledgeable component of the wider ecosystem, and as in supporting the implementation of social innovation into other priorities or program areas of the social fund in Sweden, and thus contributing to upscaling and replication. Now, there is a multitude of challenges and opportunities. On one hand, there is a challenge, could be in itself, when a managing authority undertakes to proactively contribute to implement and create impact, as in this case, as essentially an administrative authority is bound by laws and regulations that we have to adhere to. And creating a possible conflict between what we can do and what we want to do. I would like to stress the word possible. That being said, we have to look at what is possible and find the common denominators between ourselves, the stakeholders, and the needs to be addressed. To be more on point, we must find the, of course, maximal outcome for limited resources, meaning the innovations with the potential to both make a difference and create sustainable effect. There is no bulletproof method for succeeding with this ambition, but by making our ambition known, more potential innovations can apply reasonably for financial support, and by addressing the support structures, we can contribute to an ecosystem with bearing beyond the boundaries of the social fund. We also aim to support the upscaling and replication of innovations, as mentioned, by way of our other and financially larger program areas, and that could and should help creating impact and more lasting impact. On a final and positive note on the topic of challenges and opportunities, there seems to be a general urge or desire for new and innovative ways to address the challenges of today and the future, as well as an institutional will to support this ambition. And so, if we can merge the ambitions with appropriate conditions, there is no reason, there shouldn't be, why we shouldn't be able to better foster social innovations. And finally, as a result of our investment, I hope to see change, development, progress in regard to several factors, of course, but more than anything else, I would like to be able to point at actual and lasting operations on the ground, as well as on policy level, making a change and making life better for those involved and concerned, and be that implicit or explicit by our actions and support. I'll wrap it up there, Lotta. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonny. If you were to imagine freely, what steps have the actors in the projects and you as an authority taken during this ESF Plus period?
I think I touched upon that in my closing remarks. Really, I would like to see us in a different position than where we are today. Really, and that what that position is, it's up in the air. Really, but I would like to see us have taken some major steps forward.
And What new knowledge or ways of thinking do you hope to have? Do you have any?
Hopefully, both as an organization in ourselves and for the wider ecosystem, we have increased the knowledge, but we have also increased, hopefully, or changed the let's call it the collective mindset, where we see the possibilities rather than the opposite.
And when you talk about the ecosystem, do you mean the ecosystem within social innovation within labor market areas, or?
I think they are interconnected. What benefits a certain part of the ecosystem benefits other parts reasonably.
Thank you very much. Let's move on. Thank you. Now, let's move over to Forum for Social Innovation Sweden, a national collaboration and knowledge platform with 5 regional nodes at universities from the north to southern Sweden. The Forum for Social Innovation Sweden at Malmö University will act as a competence center within ESF Plus and for the new program in social innovation in Sweden. Anna Tengqvist is the coordinator at the Forum for Social Innovation Sweden at Malmö University and the coordinator for the competence center work as well. The floor is yours, Anna.
Thank you, Lotta. Yes, Forum for Social Innovation coordinates the work of the Competence Center for Social Innovation in Sweden. And one of the first things we did as a competence center when we started a few years ago was to look at what was the situation of the ecosystem for social innovation and social entrepreneurship in Sweden. Similarly to other competence centers around Europe that did the same. And very briefly for us in Sweden, we can see that we do have a lot of strengths in our ecosystem. We can see that there are basically good preconditions in the form of engaged actors, initiatives, and many change makers. And a key starting point or a success factor was the Swedish government strategy that ran between 2018 and 20. I will come back to that. But in terms of culture and norms in relation to social innovation, there's also a very widespread commitment in many sectors to the sustainability goals of the 2030 agenda, which is good. And there's also, I think no one would disagree with the statement that we do need to co-create in solving complex societal challenges, which is something really to build on. We also see that there are a lot of good examples of support to social innovation among funders, intermediaries, and also good examples of platforms and networks for social innovation, both on national level, on regional level, but also locally. An important strength is, of course, the ESF Plus focus on social innovation, the specific funding here. And we also think that the exchange between competence centers around Europe will be very important to strengthen the ecosystem in Sweden. Some of the challenges we identify really relates to what was also a good precondition, that we really lack the policy level support. The strategy is active, but it does not have any connected funding. So we really need clearer political leadership to steer towards social innovation, including funding. We also identified in our report that there's a need of stronger national, regional, and local platforms to coordinate social innovation and cross-sectoral collaboration. We also stress that there's a need to integrate socially innovative ways to work, co-create cross-sectorally in the day-to-day activities of key actors in the larger innovation system, but also key actors in relation to the implementation of ESF+. That was a very brief summary of what we saw in this report. And now we will continue to work, as Johnny already mentioned, to support the implementation of ESF+. And we will do that through supporting funded projects, through supporting them in looking at how can they make their innovations even more strong and efficient, and how can we also implement them. We will also work to analyze, evaluate, do cluster evaluations of funded projects to try to identify the key innovations and also to connect them to policy and practice in order to make them sustainable. So to disseminate innovative solutions to policy and practice will be a key area for the Competence Center in the coming years. We will also support practices that in turn support social innovation among key actors in the implementation of ESF+, and also have an ongoing dialogue and concrete actions to actually support the ecosystem for social innovation. Yeah, so that was a very brief summary of what we will be doing in the coming years.
Thank you, Anna. What do you hope the Competence Center can contribute with?
Yes, well, I really hope that we can contribute to more innovative solutions to labor market challenges, to be able to identify what we sometimes call game changers that really can change the situation for people who are far from the labor market. That's on one level. And I also hope that we can contribute. Our one aim is really that the Competence Center work should be something lasting. For example, we know that in Portugal, the government has for some years now had an intermediary body in order to support social innovation, and we would like Sweden to have the same, to have some sort of lasting function to support social innovation in Sweden, and also to do that in a cross-sectoral cooperation with other key actors in Sweden. So that's something we hope for.
And what can you just give an example of what kind of support, what topics or skills or support do projects and others need?
Yeah, what we really base our support thinking in is what we know from research are the key elements of social innovation. So how do we identify societal challenges? How do we mobilize cross-sectorally in order to generate ideas and to implement social innovations? So we will be working to support projects, but also organizations in doing this, in strengthening what they're already doing to be more socially innovative.
Great, thank you very much, Anna. I think we will move on what does the Swedish ecosystem and preconditions for social innovation in other areas apart from labor market issues look like? Let's meet Tove Nordström, the Executive Director of SE Forum and Project Lead of Samhällsentreprenörskap Sverige, working to strengthen the ecosystem for social entrepreneurship in Sweden. Tove has worked in the social entrepreneurship, sustainability and social innovation field for the past 13 plus years in Sweden, the UK and the EU. The floor is yours, Tove.
Thanks, Lotta, and thanks for inviting me. Yeah, so we work in the ecosystem field. So a lot of the challenges that Anna just mentioned are definitely challenges that we've seen in the sector. Just to give you a bit of a background on how we're working. So our initiative for a collaboration effort to strengthen the ecosystem for social entrepreneurship and innovation in Sweden comes from many years of experience where we and many other organizations and intermediaries working in the field feel that we end up in silos too often. Many of us are small organizations without long-term funding, and the efforts we're able to do to create a better and more sort of holistic support structure, which is what we're all sort of aiming for. They're often short-term and often lack substantial funding to create something long-lasting, which is what we're sort of trying to do to work with some of those challenges that Anna just mentioned. But 2 years ago, a coalition of intermediaries, ourselves included, got together to work together to create a strategy for collaboration to create a stronger unified voice for the sector and to align the sector's needs and challenges that we've heard about, to explore how we sort of collectively can find the solutions to this. And we've gathered reports and interviews and experience from the last sort of 2-3 decades to, for example, put together an action plan where we have 10 key actions, for example, where we believe are the most sort of needed for Sweden to create a better environment and better opportunities for social entrepreneurship and innovation to thrive. I want to talk you through all of that. Maybe we can share a link in the chat, but the 10 actions that we put forward, they cover the 5 key areas, which are sort of in line with what Anna mentioned as well, that we need to improve the financing solutions to social innovation and social entrepreneurship. We need to simplify the public sector market that can potentially be a good and large market for social enterprises. We need to strengthen the support structure, increase impact measurement, and also develop knowledge and networks to sort of have this, I guess, more cohesive and more holistic support structure that works and can help more entrepreneurs and innovators. And also just to mention, amongst the actions under financing that we've outlined, we've also got a specific action which highlights the importance in making the most of the EU social economy action plan. So we definitely see that as well as a key aspect in developing the sector over the coming years. And as we now have this action plan, we've outlined the sort of key areas of work and development for us and our partners, which we believe will help the work going forward. And in our opinion, this alignment is sort of what's been missing over the years with sort of scattered activities and efforts. And one of the issues at the moment is, as Anna mentioned, the fact that since the new government came in place following last year's election, we don't have a minister or governmental office in charge for social entrepreneurship and innovation, which does make it more difficult to pursue a national agenda. But we're also hoping that dialogue with municipalities and regions to explore ways forward, both in terms of the key actions that we've outlined, but also obviously the key actions that the EU social economy action plan has outlined, that there's more opportunities to work more locally and regionally with these issues. And we're also working with sort of cross-sector actors to create a clearer action plan for how to proceed and to align ourselves with a broader range of cross-sector actors, because the idea isn't that we, as the sort of partners that we work with, are going to work with this on our own. The whole point is for different sector actors from all over the sector to use it as a platform or a network to collectively work towards this kind of change. So that's a lot of our our focus at the moment, briefly.
Thank you very much, Tove. If there was one thing from the agenda that you could choose and implement, what would it be?
Oh, I have to pick one of the
Just
10.
Choose.
Yeah, tricky. I mean, I think if I can pick two, then to focus on and as well, because we're here talking about the EU strategy as well. I mean, I think that's a really important aspect of the work for anyone in Sweden, especially now when we don't have a strong national agenda. I think it's even more important to match up with what's happening in the EU. I think the idea that Michael mentioned, that the whole point with the social economy is also to align it with the green transition that's happening, which I feel is something that we're forgetting a bit here in Sweden. We have a lot of talk about sustainability and the green transition. We talk a lot about green tech, all those kind of things that we're good at in Sweden, but I think it's really important to make sure we also align it with the social sustainability aspects. So yeah, finding a national agenda that we can base on the EU agenda, I think is key. But then obviously I'm going to push also for the action in terms of creating stronger networks, and I mean that's what we're trying to do alongside what Anna's mentioned as well, in terms of finding these platforms where we can co-create solutions, because again, it's not, the idea isn't for me or any of my colleagues to sort of create collaboration on our own. Collaboration means that we do things together, so that's the whole point with our platform as well. So I'm hoping that's something that we can build more on, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you, Tove. Now I'll actually invite you all back to panel talk, and I also welcome Malin Lindberg, professor at Luleå University of Technology and guest professor at Malmö University. Welcome, Malin.
Thank you.
I want to start off with you before the panel talk. So what is your reflection on the above presentations from a researcher perspective? What do you see?
Well, I've been following the development of the area of social innovation in Sweden with great interest, and as the headline for this session states, on the European Union level, there's much more, as we also heard in the introduction speak by Michael, it's a much more of course, broader promotion of social innovation, but also more policy integrated sort of support to social innovation, which we in Sweden had that for a short while, where the national strategy for social entrepreneurship and social innovation was in place. And now we have that in the European Social Fund, that with this special program area for social innovation, and of course the mainstreaming of social innovation in the whole program. So, but that is only, as we talked about, that's only one part of the welfare system in Sweden, of course. So that's just one short reflection.
Thank you very much. Let's bring them all back in, and we can continue the talk together. The Commission works on policies and legal framework for the social economy. What does if apart from the taxation and public procurement and state aid frameworks that have been adapted to the needs of the social economy, what else does the social economy in Europe need to thrive?
Yeah, I mean, very briefly, I think these are all you're addressing me first, I guess, because you're talking about the European. So I think these are all areas which are very important, and they affect the social economy for sure. Yeah? I think there's what we need to ensure as policymakers, both at the European and the national level, is that there's a level playing field, with normal mainstream companies, which is not so easy. But I think what we can do at the European level, and I think what's needed is to have a coherent strategy to support the development of the social economy. And we also, in the council recommendation, or that we are preparing now, there will also be some concrete recommendations of how to introduce and update a strategy to support the social economy. I think this is what we can do from the European side.
And any other ideas there, Johnny? Do you have any?
Well, in short, I would say resources in accordance with the incentives coming from the policy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to add to this?
And I don't know if it's maybe there's a difference between the Swedish and European levels also, that here it's sort of separated between the civil society and social economy, and then we have the ordinary economy and the ordinary innovation field. It's hard to bridge that gap in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's easier on European level, at least you have talked about it longer, and the European Union has launched a lot of different innovation strategies where social innovation is an integrated part. So
True, yeah.
In Sweden, the Swedish government strategy, as you've been bringing up, Tove, you mentioned it, and Anna as well, for social entrepreneurship and social innovation contributed to as a unifying force and created a good foundation. But is there a need for a new or prolonged strategy for social innovation, or do we need to strengthen specific policies like the Commission now works on, or what other opportunities are there to boost social innovation, would you say? Johnny, do you want to go?
Well, I think that, of course, a strategy would be preferable along with policies. But as I mentioned, it creates expectations, it requires resources, and must always be in some way translated into operational actions to have any real purpose, if I go out on a limb here.
Malin, what do you say?
I would also say that the strategy was initiated, coordinated by the Ministry for Industry. So, and social innovation bridges the industry policy, of course, the labor market policy, social policy. So I would also call for a strategy that includes the Ministry of Social Policy, for example. So in order to bridge the logics between the commercial and the societal development plans.
We're actually now taking part at Sweden Innovation Days, where the focus is on energy and other, not so many social areas, I would say, just looking at the program and participating yesterday. It seems like we're moving away from social innovation as a in that area, at least. That's just the feeling I get when I participate. What would you say, Tove?
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, that's what I mentioned earlier about sort of we're good at the green transition and all that work, but we shouldn't forget about the social aspects of making the green transition a possibility. And as Michael mentioned, that is a key aspect of why they've even put the social economy action plan in place. The social economy is there to support and complement the green transition. So I think it's, but yeah, maybe as Malin mentioned, that the idea could be to put together different strategies to make sure that we cover social aspects as well as entrepreneurial industry aspects. But I think some sort of alignment is always good, to sort of know what we're collectively aiming for, to have a broader understanding of where we're going. You know, where do we want social entrepreneurship and innovation to be in 2030, for example? Like, we've never had that kind of strategy, like not even with the strategy that we had 2018 to 2020, we had that sort of collective ambition to where we're going. Where do we want to see the sector. So that was something that we as intermediaries that took part in a lot of activities and projects during the strategy that we were sort of missing. And I think when we did have a strategy for a brief period of time, at least it put some light on a sector and it aligned some of the effort. But I think it is important to have something that can align us going forward as well. Like even though many of us have continued working on the back of the agenda and the strategy, when there isn't a further strategy with no further funding, there is obviously a risk that we and other municipalities, for example, that continue work, that we will sort of run out of initiatives or budget eventually to pursue social innovation. So I think that could be a reason to make sure we have something to fall back on and something that align us and keep us going as well.
What do you think would be the best solutions to support social economy and social innovation in Sweden, apart from a strategy then? What other ideas are there? Malin, or who wants to go? Or Anna?
Well, yeah, well, I can continue on the previous question. I think that we really need to have both. We need to have a specific strategy for Sweden. I think it's really a missed opportunity if we don't match the European ambition. So we really need some sort of strategy to do that. But I also agree with what Malin is saying, that to have this sort of cross-ministerial focus is really important, to sort of integrate it into different policies. And I know, going back to Portugal, I know that they work with contact points at the different ministries in order to connect innovations from the ESF to the right policy area. So I think a double approach there is important.
We talk about knowledge exchange and transferring competences across regions and projects. I mean, and there is a lot of data now that we collect, but how can we make data and knowledge accessible? Michael, can you tell us something about the social innovation match bank, or what is it?
Yeah, this is one tool that we have just set up. I think we have currently about 150 cases of social innovation in this database. And the idea is to make it accessible to stakeholders, interested people, to share these projects. They're partly financed by the ESF, but partly financed from other sources as well. And we are promoting that via also the European Competence Center, so they are helping us setting it up. I think this is one concrete tool, yeah.
Is there a need for such a tool in Sweden, or does it exist already?
Sweden can feed into this tool. I mean, I haven't looked up how many Swedish projects we have, but I hope we do. And I encourage everyone to promote this tool.
Okay, thank you. We're running out of time, so I must say thank you very much to you all for taking part and presenting and sharing your knowledge. As we have heard in this session, the EU prioritized social innovation in several ways. There are fundamentally good conditions for social innovation and social entrepreneurship in Sweden too, in the form of committed actors and a diversity of individual initiatives. Research and different reports show. And the strategy also, government's strategy for social entrepreneurship and social innovation also contributed with a good foundation as a unifying force. There's also widespread commitment in many sectors to achieve the global sustainability goals in Agenda 2030. But at the same time, as we've heard today, there is a lack of a clear political support and governance for social innovation and social entrepreneurship in Sweden. There are several ways that we could strengthen social innovation. And there are many opportunities within the ESF Plus program and using social innovation. So let us all connect and make social innovation happen. Thank you all for listening, and please do contact us at the Forum for Social Innovation Sweden if you want to find out more about social innovation or about ESF Plus and the Competence Center. And please subscribe to our newsletter or follow us in social media. Thank you all again, and let's stay in touch.